Hi, I'm Dr. Roxanne Langlois. Today, I'm going to be talking about 5 strategies to improve your heart health. These are specific strategies that high performers tend to overlook, and it's a combination of my work in the emergency room and with private clients in my coaching practice. So let's get into it. So, just quickly, if you don't know me, uh, briefly introducing myself, I'm a Canadian physician. I work in emergency rooms all over Northern Canada. And a few years ago, I found that there was um, a lot lacking in our approach to heart health. And specifically for high performers, I didn't see that there was anything specific. So, for people who are able to focus, have discipline, and take action, there wasn't much that we could offer, and the standard approach was kind of failing them. So I developed one that works really well. So I'll be letting you in on a few points here. So I just want to mention this is a non-medical approach. So basically, this is not medical advice, and it's let me just explain why this works really well for high performers. So basic standard medical advice is for the general population. So in general, people are not, in the general population, are not people who feel empowered about their health. Most people, believe it or not, I can confirm you this from working 10 years in the medical system. Most people do not believe they have much power over their health. And most people don't take agency over their body, over their mind, over their life. So um, standard medical advice is for this kind of person. But if you're a high performer, if you're here, if you're someone who's able to focus, has discipline, takes action on worthwhile goals, you are a high performer. And this is one of being able to focus on what you want to achieve the desired result is a tool that not everyone has chosen to, it's a freedom that not everyone has chosen to exercise. So if you're here, you have chosen that agency over your body and over your mind, and this approach will work really well for you. Everything I teach is science-backed. Might not be mainstream, but it's science-backed. And the great thing is that unlike drugs or medical interventions, there's no side effects to taking control in the way I teach. So today we're going to touch upon 5 themes. The first theme will be nervous system regulation. This is super important and very overlooked. Then we're going to look at what you eat and how, so a bit of nutrition. Third point will be your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. The fourth will be having a long-term vision for your heart health. And then the fifth will be gentle movement and tension release, which is one of the pillars of my method. So, all right, so first theme, nervous system regulation. This is generally the first step in probably everybody, but especially for high performers. High performers have a drive and intentionality and an intensity that not everyone has. And usually we thrive on adrenaline. That's how we get our projects done. That's responsible for a lot of our success in life in general. So it's responsible for a lot of our success, but it's also in the long run responsible for our our setbacks or our health problems, because we are generally in a constant state of fight or flight. So always on, always driving, always powering through stuff, not taking the time to understand how to turn ourselves on and turn ourselves off for more rest and recovery. Or at least there's an imbalance. There's a lot more on state than being able to turn off. So the first step in good heart health is learning to regulate your nervous system. And there are many, many techniques that I teach: visualizing, meditation, guided relaxation techniques. But the first step and the easiest way to do this is to master your breathing. So very simple exercise that you can do is 5 minutes before or before you go to bed, take 5 minutes of your time and simply do a short breathing exercise. You're going to breathe in for 4, and then you're going to breathe out for 6 counts. So the exhale being a little bit longer than the inhale allows you to calm your nervous system down. This activates the movement in the diaphragm, which stimulates the vagus nerve, which is a very important nerve to calm your nervous system down. This will signal to your body that you're okay to relax. You can go into rest and recovery mode, and it will, with practice, help you become more aware of your thoughts and what's going on in your head. This is very difficult for high performers who have never done this to start doing. So just, you could start with 10 breaths. I recommend working your way up to 5 minutes, and the nervous system regulation will be the foundation of more awareness and beginning your journey into more conscious heart health. The breathing also slows down the heart rate. It gives a break to your nervous system and to your heart. It's really the foundation of better heart health. So nervous system regulation is something that is completely overlooked, not completely, but often overlooked by high performers. And the effects of the power of it are widely underestimated. It's really night and day when you're able to integrate this in terms of weeks and months. It's a muscle that really develops, and then you're able at will, on command, to tell your body to calm down in a stressful situation or in a business challenge or in a personal challenge. You're able to self-regulate your body. Really, really big implication for heart health. So that's the first strategy that you can apply. All right, and now let's talk about nutrition a little bit. So, a lot of people will ask me, what should I eat? Or if they've had a heart attack, they'll say, tell me exactly what I should eat, or even in prevention. And the truth is, I can't tell you exactly what you need to eat, right? This is something that you need to discover for yourself. You need to start listening to your body and seeing how you react, how you feel about certain foods. And then the first step, relaxing and mastering your nervous system, will really help you in this, because if you're in fight or flight and your cortisol level is way out of whack and you're tired, you're stressed, you'll have a tendency to overeat, to eat stuff that isn't good for you, and you know it. So mastering your nervous system is the first step in good nutrition. But then once you're a little bit better at that, you need to experiment a little bit and understand how your body reacts to certain foods. Okay, so I may not tell you exactly what to eat, but there are a few guidelines that are kind of important, okay? So in general, what you want to be doing is eating whole foods. So real food that has not been processed in a factory or packaged, right? So whole foods. That means fruits, vegetables, grains, things that have not been processed, fresh eggs, meat, if you eat meat that has not been processed. And you want to pay attention to how this food has been produced. I know this sounds a little bit far-fetched, but actually the quality of your food is extremely, extremely important. You are what you eat. So you need to pay attention to this. So your eggs, they should be free range. They should be organic. The chicken should be a happy chicken when it's laying the egg for you to eat, right? This influences. If the chicken is cooped up and has never seen sunlight, you're going to be eating shit. And we don't want to do that. So ensure that you're eating good quality food, organic, fresh fruits and vegetables, meats that are free range and have been fed natural things, animals that have seen sunlight and have felt free in nature. So as I said, you are what you eat. Pay attention to this. You should be really eating the best quality food that you are able to put your hands on. So that's the first thing. Unprocessed, good quality food. And then how you eat is also important. So a lot of people will kind of, treat meals like pit stops. It has to be done really quickly. Okay, how many macros, micros, or whatever nutrients you need to get. That's not how you want to treat food. You want to treat food in a way where how you eat is important. You want to be you want to appreciate your food before you eat it. You want to eat it in a calm state where you feel good. You are nourishing yourself. Nourishing yourself is not just about how much protein, how much carbs, how much vitamins a certain food has. It's also about your state of being while you're consuming it. Are you consuming it in a way that makes you feel nourished? So, eating in a calm environment, eating in a way where you are conscious that you calm yourself down before ingesting the food. Um, and then lastly, I think that one thing that is overlooked as well is you should be, to a certain extent, enjoying your food. I'm not talking about, hedonistic pleasure here where you're just like eating chocolate bars mindlessly. I'm talking about you take your time to do your best to enjoy the meal you have in front of you. And the fact that you're enjoying your meal, it's part of the nourishment, and it's part of the experience of getting the nutrients into your body. And um, enjoying your food is important for heart health. So um, to summarize, good quality food, how you eat is important. You want to be relaxed. You want to eat in a way that feels nourishing to you. And you want to do your best to enjoy your food. So that's for my nutrition spiel. And now the next topic is thoughts, beliefs, and actions. So this is possibly the most like the most not discussed topic in modern medicine yet. I truly think that this is the future of medicine. In 50 years, probably doctors and health professionals will talk about this a lot more. But for now, it's not really mainstream yet. But it has been proven. So, whatever thoughts we are having, so any thought in your body, we can measure that it has an electrical activity in the brain. So we know that thoughts have cause a chemical reaction in your brain and in your body. And so we know that patients who are depressed versus patients who feel good and joyful have different chemistry, different health patterns, and someone who does the exact same actions but is feeling depressed will have different results than someone who is feeling joyful and happy about their lives. So they can eat the same salads, take the same medication, go to the same gyms, but if one is depressed and one is happy, the reactions in the brain are different. So thoughts are important, and but what happens is that most people are not aware of their thoughts. So this is where the nervous system regulation really comes into play. If you're in fight or flight and your mind is going 1,000 miles an hour, you're not able to catch your thoughts. It's going too fast. It's like a spinning wheel where you can't really see the individual bars. Your mind needs to be slowed down so that you're able to observe your thoughts. And then once you're calmer and you've practiced observing your thoughts, you're able to take agency and to pick and choose which thoughts you decide to focus on or give your energy to. Because a repetitive thought, whether it's unconscious or conscious, a repetitive thought becomes a belief. When you were born, you had no beliefs, but then you had a lot of thoughts, and beliefs were formed. Either, you take them in from your family or you form them yourself, but a belief is a repeated thought. So we want to become aware of what our thoughts are, because whatever we believe about our body and our future health has a huge influence on what happens. And it also has an influence on what actions we take. So let me give you an example. I had a client who all the men in his family died, before 70. Like most of them died around, 60, 65, even younger from heart problems. And he had this unconscious belief that, I'd be lucky if I make it to 70. And he said it in a way that, was a little bit humorous and in a bit of a joke, but it's not a joke. And it's a real belief that he has. And this belief has a huge influence on what he was doing. Um, it has a belief on physiologically on, what your body does, because your body's listening to what you're saying about it. And it had an influence also on the actions he was taking. He was maybe not as proactive because he thought, oh, what the hell, I'll be gone when I'm 70. So becoming aware of these thoughts, these beliefs is super important. And then taking responsibility and choosing which ones you decide to focus on has an influence over time. Um, so when you're able to calm your mind, decide which thoughts you give your energy to, you have that choice, then your beliefs can be modified to things that are more beneficial to your long-term vision. And then you can align your actions to those beliefs and those thoughts. And when you align thoughts, beliefs, and actions, the execution of taking care of your body becomes a lot more resistance free. It's a lot more frictionless, and execution becomes a lot easier. So, especially for high performers, not everyone has this ability of a lot of focus, or not everyone has practiced this ability. Anyone can do it, but high performers have this ability already, because if you've achieved a career in anything, you needed to have that focus. So why not apply that focus to your heart health by tending to your thoughts, slowing down your mind, and paying attention to your thoughts? So again, the first exercise, the breathing exercise, will really allow you to calm down your mind and to be more attentive to your thoughts. So that's the third tip. Now, having a vision is super important. Again, something that is not discussed in modern medicine. When you go to the doctor, they will look at your data and your medical history, and they'll measure stuff, and then they will say, this is your risk of having this problem, so you should do this. Instead of asking, hey, what do you want? What is your long-term vision of health? And let's adjust to that. And I think that approach is a lot more exciting, but it's, again, not something that we can do with the majority of the population, because the majority of the population is not ready to take agency over their body. They're not ready yet to take responsibility over their body and health. But when you are, you need to have a long-term vision. You need to know what your destination, where you want to go in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You need to have a clear vision. You need to write it down. You need to talk about it. Like, this should be a discussion you have with your doctor. Oh, in 20 years, I want to be doing this. And then we take the actions to get there, right? So this works really, really well because you have the ability to focus. You have the discipline to take the actions necessary. So have a vision, and you should be able to talk to this about you should be able to talk about this to your doctor or any other healthcare provider you have. Makes a huge difference. All right, and the last thing that I want to talk about is the of course, movement is important, physical activity, of course, that's all important, but I'm talking about something a little bit different here. On top of all the exercise that you should be doing, of course, you should be doing cardio, weights, all that stuff. Most people know this. There's also something a concept that is really important, and this concept is tension release. Especially in high performers, and especially in our world today, life is going so fast. We are usually under chronic tension. So we're tensed up, our breathing is shallow, the muscles in our thoracic cage are all tense, and this is not good for us. It doesn't allow the movement of energy, of blood flow, of air to go through our body. So we need to learn how to release tension in a way that is intentional. So you might already be doing this if you go for runs or you walk. This is a way to release tension. But you should have ways to release tension that are quick and easy and can be done throughout the day in any place. Okay. So one of the things that I teach to my students is tension release techniques that take about a minute and that you could use to break that cycle of tension, stress throughout the day. Because tension is something that builds up insidiously, right? It just builds up and then and then something pops and you wonder where it came from. So we don't want to let that happen in heart health. We need to release tension often so that it doesn't build up, and that because high performers also have a very high tolerance for discomfort, right? That's how we get ahead. That's how we outperform everybody, because we have a really big tolerance for stuff that doesn't feel good. And that's okay in terms of work, but it's not okay in terms of health. We want to release tension definitely at least daily and throughout the day many times. I use this personally in my, during my days in the ER. I release tension. I have techniques for this that work really well. I have a masterclass on this. If ever you're interested, just DM me. And so, yeah, when you release tension, everything works better in the body. Your sleep is better. Your digestion is better. Your blood flow is better. Your breathing is better. Your thoughts are better. You have clearer mind, so you have better ideas. So releasing tension is that last strategy that is really overlooked by high performers and needs to be integrated into your daily life throughout the day. So that's all, guys. I hope you enjoyed. These are some of the things I work with private clients. I have a 90-day program with one-to-one support. This is really, really personalized stuff. I only take on 5 clients at a time. So, yeah, it's super personalized. Like you have access through me. You have access to me through chat support. So all week, we're sending audio notes and we sit down 1 hour a week to go through the program. And it's tailored to your specific needs. This is specifically for high performers. So yeah, if you feel that this would be beneficial for you, I would encourage you to book a call with me. I'd love to explore if we could be a good fit and if I could help you. It's my passion and honor to help people who want to improve their heart health. So if you feel called, book a call. I'd be happy to have a chat. And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your time in focusing on yourself and being proactive about your heart health. It feels good to me as a healthcare provider to see people who are interested in this. So thank you, and I'm wishing you a beautiful day ahead. Bye.